Prempeh I and other members of the Ashanti government, Yaa Asantewaa became the regent of the Jisu-Juaben district in the Ashanti Empire, now part of modern-day Ghana. After the exile of Prempeh I, the British Governor-General of the Gold Coast, Frederick Hodgson, demanded the Golden Stool, the symbol of the Ashanti nation. There was a disagreement among the members of the Ashanti government at Kumasi on how to go about this. In 1900, she led the Ashanti War, also known as the War of the Golden Stool, against the British Empire. The Ashanti-British War of the Golden Stool, also known as the Yaa Asantewaa War, was led by Queen Mother Nana Yaa Asantewaa with an army of about 5,000. During the fighting, Queen Yaa Asantewaa and 15 other closest advisors were captured, and they too were sent into exile to the Seychelles. Her dream for an Ashanti independence from colonial rule was realized on 6 March 1957, when the Ashanti Protectorate gained independence as part of Ghana. Ghana was the first African nation in West Africa to achieve this feat. She was a successful farmer and mother, an intellectual, a politician, a human rights activist, a queen, and a war leader. Nana Yaa Asantewaa died in exile in the Seychelles on 17th October 1921.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
All right, folks, good evening and welcome to another date on Journalist Hangout. I am Citizen Jones Usen. Today on the program, INEC declares Doye Diri winner of Bayelsa governorship election. APC's Ododo declared winner in Kogi governorship polls as Kogi SDP candidate vows not to challenge the election results in court despite allegations of rigging. It says it's a waste of time. And later on, we'll share this with you. After claiming victory by a huge margin, Governor Uzodinma urges opponents to join him to build Imo State. Well, I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, BKO. I greet you, Jide. Welcome back to town.
Yeah.
Okay. And we are joined by Majid Jamiu. Majid, I greet you too.
Good evening, citizen. Good evening, Nigerians.
So the team is ready. I hope you are.
Since it has pleased God.
Okay then, let's begin with the outcome of Saturday's governorship polls in Bayelsa State. After much adjournments and disruptions by political party agents, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, declared the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the incumbent governor of the state, Doye Diri, winner of the poll. Governor Diri polled 175,196 votes to defeat his closest rival, Timipri Silva of the All Progressives Congress, APC, who scored 110,108 votes. Now, let's hear from the INEC folks. Please come with me.
It has pleased God and the Imo people to confer that honor and privilege on me. I congratulate and commiserate with my brothers who contested the election with me. They did not lose, but the Imo people won. This collective victory is for the good of the people and the progress of our state. I therefore...
The election was contested and the candidate received the following votes. Party A, 1017. Party APC, represented by Uzodinma Odidika Good Hope, score 540,308. 540308. Party LP, represented by Achonu Ineji, score 64,081. 64081. Party PDP, represented by Anyamu Samuel Nemeka.
That Diridoye of PDP, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Signed by Farouk Adamukuta, the returning officer. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Today, again, election day, even if off-season, it's come and gone. Bayelsa kept us waiting.
Yes, and Kogi could just have kept us waiting as well.
As well.
But the INEC decided against conducting the fresh elections in
some
59,
polling booths.
59 polling centers.
Yeah.
Next Saturday, as they had previously announced. And I was like, so we are going to wait until next Saturday to know who won. Because if you had to conduct those fresh elections in those places, you cannot declare someone winner. But INEC, in his wisdom, looked at the totality of votes that could come from all of those places where they ordered rerun, and then decided against having a fresh election, because even if we conducted a fresh election, it will not have any impact on the outcome, because the lead is a hefty one, what you could call an unassailable lead. So they just came to the conclusion that, look, let's declare Ododo winner and not bother ourselves with a fresh election. So that is what happened. And I didn't think that for a state like Bayelsa, with just 8 local governments, that we needed to be kept waiting for that long. Yeah. I keep saying it that, look, today, India is the world's most populated nation. It is undoubtedly the world's biggest democracy. But if they conduct elections today, within 24 hours, we'll know the winner. And you can get so many Nigeria out of India. Is it in terms of the landmass or the population that we're talking about? If we say by our estimated population, we are about 200 million. How about India? India is in billions.
1.4 billion.
Yes. So now we must be able to conduct elections and know the winner quicker than we do currently.
Because
and
it's possible to do so. It's so possible so to do.
Yes, you see, there were some distractions, some delays. INEC complained in Kogi, for example, that it was let down by its partners because INEC does not handle logistics by itself. Moving ballot materials from polling station to polling station is done by INEC partners, the NURTW and the like. They help them to move this, yes, you know. So they got late to some polling centers and INEC was not really impressed. If one of these 3 states had been as big as Katsina or Kano, we would have had elections running into the next day, maybe 12 midnight or 1 a.m. Because you have a situation in which there are up to 700 people on, a polling center, and they are all on queue. And the regulation says that once you have lined up, they must be patient with you to conduct your accreditation and then vote. So you will find that when they don't get there on time, people are held back, the process is held back, and voting then extends into the night. You saw Ayo Zubaku at a polling center in Adamawa State where there was no illumination of any kind. They were using candle just because the place
They don't have electricity supply.
The show can go on.
They didn't have electricity supply, and you had to. Manipulation becomes easier to do when you expect INEC to conduct its business in pitch darkness. It's just not going to work. So I believe that, look, it's an evolving process. We must continually seek to make our electoral process wholesome, have integrity, so that we'll get there. We'll be able to say one day that, come on, Jide, we can hold up our elections against the elections conducted in other countries. And we have to keep working at it. It is possible.
Jamiu, so Jide talked about India, largest democracy, with the size, sheer size and numbers, India conducts an election, and the results are turned in record time.
Yeah, that's.
Are we a long, long way from home?
Well, I won't say so. When you deploy technology and deploy it well, you achieve very good results. And INEC is not alone in this matter. INEC is evolving from PVC, a permanent voter's card, to card reader. Now they are at the level of beavers that takes both facial and thumbprint. But even at that, some people still want to circumvent the process. You see a situation where, like Jide said, INEC is not the only stakeholder in an election cycle. So they'll put their machinery in place, but where INEC hires logistics companies, I mean, quote and unquote, the likes of NURTW, INEC cannot provide buses or motorcycles or boats, I mean, for riverine areas, I mean, for the purpose of election, they have to outsource some of these activities, which they have done. And you also need security. We have had instances of where people, security agencies, quote and unquote, compromise. And also, some fake policemen were arrested in some places, some fake soldiers. Is it INEC that came up with fake soldiers or fake soldiers? The stakeholders, the politicians, they are critical stakeholders. They are the major problems because of their do or die habit, attitude.
And rather lamentably, the INEC takes, because the whipping boy.
INEC takes the, I mean, you see people come on TV and say, INEC must improve on this process, INEC must do this, INEC must do that. What can INEC do?
It's a two-way street.
Yeah, so
the political
INEC
class
is playing its own role. The political class too must come up and see an electionary process as, I mean, not a do or die situation.
That's the only way, gentlemen.
You see the Labour Party
candidate,
agent in Imo that was bundled out of the collation center because he wants to disrupt the process. If you didn't do your homework well, I mean, Labour Party and PDP, they are the same. If you guys cannot come together, you will continue to lose elections. That is it.
Election, they will say it's rigging.
When they lose election, you say it's rigging.
Okay.
So.
But the Nigerian, the everyday Nigerian on the street must understand the dynamics.
And in Kogi, there are 4 major contenders. 3 of them are from APC. Yeah, so because if it's happening in Imo, we must also talk about the candidate of the SDP, Muntala Ajaka. It's from APC.
An NWC member.
An NWC member of APC. The candidate of the ADC, Leke Abejide, is also an APC member. But because the White Lion and Ododo, very strong, he was able to sort himself out against a very weakling in Dino, for example.
Oh, come on.
Weakling, yes.
All right.
And I will explain.
I won't contest that. But let's go to our next issue. Meanwhile, political watchers have blamed the infighting, I should say, for losses recorded by some candidates at the elections, especially the PDP. Let's hear Farouk Adejo Audu, who said the PDP governorship candidate in Kogi State, Dino Melaye, lost the election long before Saturday. He stated that the PDP state exco said they would help him to lose. Let's hear from him.
That even before the contest in Kogi is to start, that the People's Democratic Party is undermining its own fortune in our state. It is our party that is about to defeat our party in our state, not even the APC, by manipulating the delegates list. I will now believe that even if we go for primaries now, they will try to manipulate the process again so that their preferred candidate will emerge. Everybody knows this preferred candidate. And it's actually very disheartening. And I'm not going to hesitate because, of course, I'm not going to start speaking in riddle. The preferred candidate of the leadership of this party happens to be one man called Daniel Melaye, alias Dino, who was the mascot of the presidential campaign. So if somebody was a clown in your campaign, and you are very pleased with his performance, the mascot, and he made you laugh, or insulted people for you, is that enough to award the governorship ticket of our state to him?
All right. We just heard from Kogi. You see, facts, we are told, are sacred, so they don't lie.
They don't. Before this election, I told so many people that Dino will come third in this election because I could see from afar what will happen. I chose not to predict because all the candidates are people that I know closely. I didn't want to diminish anybody's chances or make anyone feel that, oh, I did not want him to win, you know? So I decided to keep my views to myself. But there were people who are sending messages, please tell us, what do you think will happen in Kogi? And all that. Some of them, I replied them, who do you think will win in Bayelsa? I told them. And to the glory of God is the way we say things that it happened. I have those messages on my phone. See, before this election, the feeling, Farouk Adejo, by the way, left the PDP to go and work for Ajaka. You know?
The SDP guy.
Yes, he became his top media man. Because Farouk had worked at Punch. You know, he's a very good journalist in his heyday. So he worked for Ajaka. So he left the PDP. PDP has always had crisis. It is the fight to finish syndrome of PDP that ensures that it has not been able to take power back from the APC. You saw what happened. Not Kogi State alone.
Almost everywhere.
You saw what happened in the presidential election. When they said, oh, this national chairman was partisan, he had to go. And Atiku fought and fought, defended him, and cost himself the presidency as a result.
5 governors left.
How about Kwankwaso? Kwankwaso was in the PDP. He left after the election into the ESCO of the party. He wanted these zonal elections, and he had a candidate. They made sure that his candidate didn't get it. If Kwankwaso had remained, he would have guaranteed Atiku an extra 1 million votes.
Yeah.
An extra 1 million vote at least.
And Kano.
If Obi had remained in the PDP,
perhaps
all of them, Obi, Kwankwaso and Atiku, combined will have had 14.6 million votes or so.
Yeah.
With that, there's no way that Asiwaju can catch them. So they were fighting one another, and Asiwaju was just looking at them and praying that they will not be able to resolve their differences. Because he knew...
Makes you remember the saying, if your enemy is making a mistake, don't interrupt.
No, don't. Just leave him. Leave him. So you can see that Farouk Adejoadu had already predicted Dino's fate before the election, because he felt that, look, this person should, that the party was doing everything to make sure that this fellow emerged as the candidate of the party. You know? Of course, the stature of Atiku and having Dino as one of his main media spokespersons also played a part. Because as the standard bearer of the party in the presidential election, he was inevitably the leader of the party, especially when the national chairman was shunted aside by the decision of the courts. So that what Atiku didn't want to see when people like Wike said, we don't want this chairman, Atiku stood by him. But in the final analysis, the courts removed Ayu. And till today, they've not been able to set aside that decision of the court. So in the end, is he chairman? Is he currently the chairman of the party? Of course.
If you were asked directly, who is the PDP chairman today?
It's the Damagum. Of course, I know it's Damagum. He's from Yobe State. That is the current, because when he was removed, of course, someone will step in. Yeah. So it's Damagum that is the chairman of the party. So PDP always find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened even in Bayelsa. That is what, I mean, as I said, Bayelsa, in Imo State.
Imo, yeah.
We'll go into that. You'll see what happened.
So,
helped
right.
Opus Odema to win.
We'll take a breather now, go on a commercial break, but we should be back shortly. Please stay with us.
Unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to officially welcome you to the grand launch of this wonderful initiative celebrating the completion of the first 2,000 vehicles assembled here in Ogba.
To the glory of God and to the benefit of mankind, I now officially commission the 2000 car itself, number 2000, built by GSC in conjunction with the Lagos State government as partners.
Our story began with the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between CIG Motor Company Limited and Lagos State government sometime in September 2020 at the peak of COVID-19 pandemic. Once it was signed, my team and I struck for just one thing: deliver on the objective of the partnership.
You know that China and Nigeria are very important strategic partner, and during the past years, we are confident in the future of automobile industry.
Let us challenge you here now that 2,000 is just a small feat. The 5,000 and the 10,000 you promised me, go out there and get it done. We don't need Tokumbo vehicles. We need tier rubber brand new vehicles in our country. And you can see, even from this place, that it is happening. Diana, thank you very much for showing the way. Hopefully many others will follow soon. I want to thank all of the banks that have also supported them. Let us reduce, our pressure on foreign currency so that indeed our kids, our youth, our young children, our young graduates can have a means of employment. Thank you very much for listening.
All right, folks, to our next story. Perhaps one critical problem with the electoral process in our country is voter apathy. Of course, this is not helped by exposure to political messages all year round. On election morning, many electors stay home in protest, yet elections, as they say, belong to the people. The off-season governorship polls held in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states. For instance, in Kogi, Usman Ododo of the All Progressives Congress, APC, was declared winner of the exercise. The candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Murtala Ajaka, has rejected the result, but vows never to contest it in court. To him, this will be a waste of time. Now, the candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Leke Abejide, also vowed not to challenge the outcome in court, urging his supporters to take it as an act of God. Mojid, an act of God.
Yes, no, like we said earlier, especially in Kogi, most of the principal actors are either members of the APC or former members of the APC. So you see that they have roots in APC. At the last interview that Abejide had, he said he campaigned for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
He bought vehicles.
He bought vehicles. That's Leke Abejide of the ADC. So that kind of person who scored, less than 50,000 votes. What was the point going to contest and a result in court when it's not the APM presidential candidate? And the judge, the justices of the Supreme Court had to ask their lawyer, what is your interest in this case? Why are you coming to the Supreme Court? What is your prayer? What do you want to achieve by bringing this kind of case? And their lawyer, the counsel, now said, my lord, we are sorry, sir, we are withdrawing it. And so they struck it out. So that's why Ajaka and Abejide would not go to contest. Of course, Murtala Ajaka made a very, very good showing with 256,000 votes. 210,000 votes more than Daniel Melaye, because at least they have told us his full name now. It's Daniel, claiming, saying it's Dino.
Dino, the name Dino is actually an Italian name. So it's a Nigerian bearing an Italian.
And that person, Farouk, that just spoke with us on Dino, he made that statement before April 16.
This year?
This year. This is November, because I watched him live. That statement was made before April 16. He said they already predetermined who will win the PDP Kogi primary. And he mentioned the name of Dino. And Dino won the primary on April 16. For somebody who used to be a journalist, that's Farouk, who used to be a journalist and also a former chairman of Algon
in
Kogi State. You don't joke with that kind of person. So when you impose candidates in a party that is not that popular in Kogi, this is the kind of result you get. Dino came third in his Ijumu local government, defeated by Ododo, and Ajaka came second. He came third in his own local government.
He's asking for a cancellation?
So which cancellation is he asking for? Who is listening to him? On the day of his mega rally, at least we have between 13 and 14 PDP governors. only the Adeleke, Demola Adeleke, the governor of Osun State, attended only Ademola Adeleke. Even Atiku couldn't go there. So you see some of these signs and you see the result. And Natasha Apathy, people thought it would garner some favor as a result of Apathy's and Apathy Uduagan's victory in the senatorial district. He said, no. Natasha is an ardent supporter of Ajaka. Yes, he said, well, my heart is with Ajaka, but my party is PDP. So she was very cautious.
Natasha campaigned for Dino, but whatever it is, Ebiras will not see their son on the ballot and go and vote for anybody else, no matter how popular Natasha is. When you asked that question here, I said no. My knowledge of electoral behavior tells me, and this is what I've seen before in that state. You know, I lived there. My dad worked in Okene. I did part of my primary school. Of course, I did part of my secondary school. We went for Baba's. So you cannot say that I cannot explain electoral behavior. No matter who, no matter how strong Natasha is, no matter how much they like her, they will reject anybody that Natasha is trying to sell to them when they have their own son on the ballot and is the only one from the area. If there is competition, for example, maybe the votes could be divided, but he's the only one coming from Kogi Central. So they united behind him. The same way that they united against, in favor of Adamuata in 1983. Despite the fact I eventually lost the election to C.O. Adebayo. But it was bulk vote, tremendous bulk vote, that went to Adamuata in 1983. Students of political history in our country will recall. And so it was easy to know that, look, Natasha won't be able to bring votes for Dino. And I said it clearly here when I asked that question. I mean, it's a long shot to imagine that because she won the senatorial election. I mean, that's a different kind of election. It was a contest between Ebira's sons, daughters. Ebira people against one another. But when you are a solitary Ebira person against on the ballot from the old area, and someone is coming from outside of the area,
obviously they will be
trying to contest against that person. They will rally behind their son. This is the way. And they usually vote in good numbers. And
the vote was massive.
What I said to Ayo was 101,000 like Hausas, Hausa Fulanis. 101,000 to 1,000. Like Hausa Fulanis. And we saw that. You know, I've heard them say that, okay, some of the votes were products of vote rigging and all that. Well, we are not judges. It is the courts that will determine whether indeed that was what happened. But I know them very well. They will never. I saw some of the videos where Natasha was campaigning for Dino, for example. I have no doubt that Natasha wanted Dino to win. But the people would not choose a Dino over their own son. Politics in our country is still largely clannish, determined by religion, ethnicity, and other variables. So you do not expect them. Even when you talk, people say, oh, there is a Igala agenda. There was also Okun agenda. There was Ebira agenda in Kogi there. That is the truth. We have not reached that point when people will not have such considerations, will subject themselves to some level of this thing. They will still.
It's a crying shame.
It's part of the problem. We were talking about in Benue, for example. Have the Igedes or the Domas been able to even have a shot at the governorship? No, they've not. They've not. Because the dominant tribe will always vote for its own. So this is the thing. It was very predictable that they would not listen to Natasha. Even on that day, there's a video, if I play, you see, she was telling people to calm down. But as she was speaking, there were side talks and all that. They had made up their minds that it is that their son, Ododo, that will get their votes.
Jamie, the mention of Natasha brings to mind the fact that 83 states, Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa, the candidates, governorship candidates, total close to 50, 51. Only 3 women. Does that bother you? Not bother you?
Well, see, in this part of the world, I don't think we are ready for a female governorship candidate or a female president. Well, we have had an increment in their numbers in the state assemblies and national assemblies, and except probably by default in the case of Etiaba in Anambra.
Virgil
Etiaba. It was by default. So
in Anambra.
Yeah,
was
Anambra.
it a product of election?
Yes. So, but for a product of election, you see, we are still very masculine in our electoral process.
Patriarchal.
We are misogynist.
Yes. So it will take some time. So women still need to try more.
And when you hear women don't like their own, it sounds...
You see, because the thing is, the kind of things involved in a governorship election, a woman can only come in probably from the default position of being a deputy, not as the main presidential candidate. We are very close to it in Taraba and Adamawa, but even in those places, it's even more difficult for you to emerge as a woman in the north. In the southern part of the country, it's still a bit possible. Even at that, no political party, no serious political party will risk fielding a female candidate.
And they don't have the resources.
They don't have the resources that the men have.
Politics thrives.
And the legwork.
They don't have the resources that the men have.
Maybe that affected Madam Patricia Ete when she was speaker.
No, because Ete was Obasanjo's candidate.
Okay.
They began to fight her from the first day.
Yeah.
Wow.
They lied against her only for them to clear her.
Later.
Months after, once they achieved their aim of kicking her out, they then looked at her matter again and gave her a clean bill of health. I was defending her from the first day because I knew they were a bunch of liars.
Yeah.
The woman didn't do anything wrong.
But they just wanted
to get out of the way. They called her hairdresser, said all sorts of things. Because they didn't want the fact that Obasanjo brought someone for them.
Yeah.
You know, the House of Reps is more radical than Senate. They usually don't like it when you try to impose someone on them. It happened even with Molika, if you remember. They went for Tambua after the AC at the time. You know, President Tinubu and others felt that Molika should have that shot. They would not agree. They even worked against their party to make sure that it didn't happen. So you can imagine, it was Asiwaju and Co. that opted for Tambua. Let me make that correction. Or the PDP wanted Molika. But it didn't happen. So the House of Reps has this history of not agreeing to any idea of some people somewhere bringing someone to lead them. They always resist that.
Aren't you troubled by the attitude of godfathers in our politics? Godfatherism, I hear, is universal. But in Nigeria, they are like substitutes for democracy.
Not entirely so. I also think that, look, when someone helps you to get to power, you need to treat them with some level of respect. There are people who are nobodies before they were plucked from somewhere and made senator, made House of Reps member, made governor. These things happen. But what usually happens is once people have tasted power, the first thing on their mind is to get their godfather out of the way. But at the time when you were seeking election, you were groveling at his feet. You were always treating him with respect because you knew that, look, you must do whatever
it takes.
You needed to do just to get that ticket. Once they become governor, within a short time they started fighting. Look at even in Benue, Adalia and the SGF.
Okay.
There's a cold war between them that began even less than a week after swearing. So this happened, and their supporters. It has polarized their supporters.
Yeah.
That is one problem that the APC must resolve before they go for the next election.
I hear we must make some more money. We must go on another break, commercial break. We should be back. Please stay. We'll return to conclude the show.
In a world hungry for goodness, with a splash of golden terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Make a lunch hour a happy hour. Change no thanks into yes please. Provide care when our nearest and dearest needs it most. And resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty, nourishing family meals is all that matters. The world needs moms, because where there are moms, there is hope, happiness, and love. Golden Terra Oil, or pure love.
In today's world, our lifestyle, both at work and at play, depends on connectivity. Our connectivity depends on the devices that make it possible, and these devices depend on electric power. When power fails, our life shrinks, our work drops, and our joy dips. JRB Solar Energy Systems are here to ensure that we enjoy uninterruptible power, uninterruptible joy. Whether you're running a business, an institution, or just a home you return daily to rest, JRB has got you covered. No project is too big for our super digital inverters, long-lasting batteries, and efficient solar panels. Go. Dream on. Change your world. JRB solar inverters, batteries, solar panels, solar streetlights, and more. Telephone 0906 752 1111. Email sales@jrbsolar.com. With JRB, the sun's gonna shine on everything you do.
Okay then, let's quickly go to our last story. You know, you pop the question, is it really possible to be magnanimous in electoral victory or election victory, and by the same token, be gracious in defeat in our climb? Experts say yes, it is, but now Governor Hope Uzodinma, who was declared winner of the Imo governorship poll by INEC, has called on his political opponents to join hands with him in building and lifting Imo State. Losing an election hurts, and more so when you believe the field of contest was not level. But there's life after an election, Majid.
Well, he delivered this victory in a very unusual manner. 540,000 to 71,000 from Samayawu of the PDP, and 64,000 by the Labour. From Labour. So where do they want to start from? Almost a whooping 500,000.
The gap is too much.
The gap is unassailable. So, and give it to Uzodinma. In 2019, they said he emerged as a Supreme Court governor. But today, he has been able to prove that, yes, I am a man of the people.
That I don't need the Supreme Court.
I don't need the Supreme Court. So,
the music has changed.
2 years ago, he started paying 13th month salary. For a civil service state, that means a lot in a climate like this. Then he has done some things. And you see, I started seeing some positivity, and I started feeling that this man, Opusodima, could actually win this election when Khan started campaigning for him. Subtly. It was Khan who,
the Christian Association.
Christian Association of Nigeria, told Ajero, don't come and cause problem in Imo. Khan wrote to NLC, said, the state NLC says we don't have a problem. You say there's a problem. You came from Abuja to Imo.
Still there, he's fighting for them now. So he's not fighting for national, he's fighting for the state.
That is it.
And if the state said they don't have issues,
it is only it is state that we invite national. Now you said
he invited himself.
Yes. So you said that there's a labor NLC protest, and you invited the labor guys there. They got there only to discover that it was a labor party rally, and they said, chairman, what is going on?
Politics, we are told by the experts, stupidity is not a handicap.
But is he a politician? Is the Labour Party, is the Labour president Ajaero?
From the look of things.
Is he a politician? But because you are from Imo State, you should be able to detach yourself. I mean, you are the president of Labour. Detach yourself from partisan politics.
Yeah.
And they gave him a bloody nose.
So Uzodinma has quietened so many critics.
You know, you have to give it to him. Hope Uzodinma is a smart man. He's a smart politician. You may not like him. I can't say with honesty that I'm his fan. No. But he took some steps that really helped him to be in the position that he has found himself.
Against the odds.
That's what I actually expected him to win. And I told people that he will win.
I did not.
Oh, I have.
You don't blame me.
No, I expected him to win too, because I've been in Imo twice.
I did not.
I expected him to win when I started seeing the kind of people around him. Some of the biggest politicians, he found a way to reconcile with everyone. The day I saw him with Okorocha, I said, how did this man manage to do this?
After all...
Yes.
Hell was
our Kim was literally the person who even organized his fundraiser. And our Kim was a governor.
I know.
Yes,
I know.
From the Okigwe zone.
And you know,
he found a way to reconcile.
I think we should also add that Ike Keremadu, the former
the absence of Ihedioha.
Ihedioha.
You know, Ihedioha pulling out of the race kind of damaged the PDP.
Yeah.
Because his supporters felt that, okay, they were unfair to him, and that was why he decided to get out of the race. So his supporters didn't support Sam Dadi, Sam Anyanwu. So that, in a way, by taking their votes and giving Hope Uzodinma their votes,
we must go. But for me, Governor Hope Uzodinma, Imolites have a lot of hope in you.
And he has to perform. Yes, fix the Owerri, internal roads in Owerri. So people are complaining about that. Fix those roads, make them look better.
That's it. Okay, we must go. Not before thanking Jide for coming.
I thank you for coming too.
And Majid Jamiu, many thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it on the show for today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program, Journalist Hangout. You may watch a repeat broadcast of this one tonight at 11. And of course, remember that on Sunday we are here from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Usen. Bye-bye now. Take care.
Because I know who I am. I'm Bola Tinubu is the president that can secure us. I come a long way. I met Ahmed Bola Tinubu during the OP 93 in 1992. And we have been close friends since then. And he had been a pillar of support to me in my most trying period. Has repeated it over and over. A lot of people will not believe I stake my life. And my brother here, he contributed enormously to what happened in the past. But we appreciated everybody who contributed. I am not a regular politician. I am just a friend of Ahmed Bola. I am not looking for appointment. But there are those who are looking for appointment around me. And they made sacrifices. They risked their lives. And all these individuals are looking up to me. I will not do anything that will cause the president pain. And all those who are around me should be rest assured that I remain the supporter of the president. Also, about Rivers State. The governor of Rivers State, Senator, we had disagreement, but as brothers, we would not continue on the path of bearing grudges against each other. We must always look forward and work for the good of Rivers State. And I also appeal to the Minister for the Federal Capital Territory that whatever problem they have among themselves, they may have had, they should have amicably resolved.
When it comes to the issue of Nigeria and the issue of Rivers State, we are key stakeholders and our interest is for the peace, economic survival, and political and economic inclusion of Rivers State. Sometimes, a friend will have disagreement, a mother and child will have disagreement, and he may have expressed concern based upon the outcry of other followers that believe in him. But right now, we're all seeing it point blank that he's still with the president, we are still with Mr. President, and also the issues in Rivers State. We have a government already that we should all work towards seeing that the government succeeds. And if there are issues with the Minister of the FCT and our governor, we should all implement. Appeal to both parties to maintain calmness. Appeal to the minister to understand and work with his governor. And also appeal to our governor to also maintain some degree of calmness and work with the minister. Because if there are issues in Rivers State, investors wouldn't come in here to invest, and there are no private investment, no private capital development, you can't have economic growth to create employment for our youth. So we need the minister to understand this and put his federal network together to continue to support Rivers State. And we also need the governor to key into the vision of Mr. President so that Rivers people can, benefit from the dividend of democracy.